genuinely give zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the most racist individuals that there is in 2025. As a white person, I certainly can't go to a black community and feel safe. But when they come to white communities, it's like they're in Disneyland. I used to be an addict, so every time I'd go down to Newark, I would have to make sure I was strapped. I don't think they have to feel the same way about going out in a white community. Matter of fact, they can come here and say whatever they want. They can call me white boy this, white boy that, white whatever the and I'm just simply not going to comply with the double standard. I genuinely do not care one bit about your guys' feelings, and I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is, in 2025, white kids are being raised to be accepting individuals, and it's not the other way around. And everybody knows that.
And he's absolutely right. I got to be objective. I got to call a spade a spade. And I think that there is some nuance here. So let's go ahead and get the pleasantries out of the way. Of course, there are some still racist white people. Of course, there are racist black people. Of course, there are some white people that raise their children to be a little bit more demonic. And of course, there are black people to raise their children to be a little bit more demonic. So nobody is a monolith. And when we talk about the majority, not the minority. So now that we got the pleasantries out of the way, let's ask ourselves this question. Is it the truth? Is it the truth and why? And I think that the why is what we then explore after we evaluate if it's the truth. And from my perspective, as a black person that, understand that we have to be a part of the Democrat plantation and, that the label, because I mean, be honest with you, like I get called out of my name because I'm objective enough to actually see the truth from what it is. And I divest myself from the idea that all white people are bad or all Jewish people are bad, or all this is bad. And so when we then get rid of that mentality, you start to see it. The veil is lifted from your eyes. And if you go into some of these households and you talk amongst these circles, and white people are now being able to see it for themselves because racist black people feel comfortable saying whatever it is that they want to say. And when he even described the whole idea of they can say white boy this, white boy that, if you say black boy this, black boy that as a white person, you are 1000% going to be labeled as racist. White people are labeled as racist before they ever even open up their mouth. If black people think you stare at them wrong, you racist. If you didn't get the job, you racist. If you are called out on your behavior on a Carnival cruise ship, oh, I can't believe they don't want the black dollar. Like, you will never hear openly people say, I can't believe they don't want the white dollar. You know what I'm saying? And so the litmus test is always, if you don't feel comfortable with somebody doing to you what you are doing to them, then you need to stop doing that in general, or allow for them to be able to do it back to you, and then don't be so butthurt when it comes back to you, because you have to be mindful about how it is that you treat other people. And it's so amazing how we have been so divided. Y'all should go and look up that YouTube video about the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experiment. The blue-eyed, I know some of y'all are a little bit younger and you wasn't really around when the internet first got started and all of that stuff. But there's an old YouTube video called the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experiment, where they separated them based off of their eye color and they watched what happened. And then there automatically became division once they pointed out the differences and similarities amongst each other. They started grouping up. And this is what's happening in culture and in society, except it's becoming more extreme on one side, and then they're forcing white people to be apologists on the other side. And so what you're now seeing is, and I've been saying this for a while, especially on the Millionaire Morning Show, there's an overcorrection, and I knew that it was going to get to this point to where white people eventually was going to say, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? When did I become the villain? I wasn't even born. I don't even know you. I ain't never seen you before. Why is it that you labeling me as racist? And it's the truth. If you go into a white community, black people then look at it as like, oh, okay, well, I can take this over. I can do what I want to do. And they better accept me. And I don't even have to adjust to my cultural norms that I am now experiencing out here, I can do what I want to do. If black people or white people go into a black community, first thing they're going to say is, oh man, you a gentrifier. You a culture vulture. You are a person that's going to come in here and raise the property values of the people, even though we don't really mess with this area. We've been trying to give away our grandmother's home for a long time, right? We didn't want to fix it up. We just started selling crack out of it. And as a matter of fact, we've glorified the idea of selling crack to our mothers and our grandmothers, right? But if you come in here and you fix up your house and you raise the property values, it's just the facts, man. And listen, again, people need to get out of their feelings and just look at it objectively for what it is. We cannot remove our bias to save our lives, but removing our biases will save our lives. And it will give you a better experience. I personally, as a person that travels the globe and the United States of America, have never felt an ounce of racism towards me in any capacity as a 43-year-old man. And I have been raised in Detroit. I have lived right now, I live in a community that probably has zero black people out here. And then I live in another community that's pretty diverse because I'm inner city and I live in an apartment down in the inner city also. And so I got both, right? But I am very welcomed, and all of my neighbors is awesome, and it's a really quiet community, and we know each other. And I was just literally doing a Tim the Toolman Taylor to the guy that's next door, and we was talking, and I found out what he does for a living, and he was telling me that he does concrete, and so conversely, I will also tell you, because I'm very transparent and it's not a secret, I'm probably the richest person in my neighborhood also. Probably. I mean, you never know, right? But again, I know all of my neighbors, and I'm pretty much talking about my street and my block and the block this way and the block that way because, we've had parties and I got a new deck. So, you know what I'm saying? The neighbor, it's a pretty big deck. So the neighbors is feeling comfortable, barbecued, all of that, right? So it's awesome times. But life is so much easier and it's so much better and simpler and enjoyable when you are amongst a group of people that actually enjoy your time, enjoy your spirit. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Life is awesome. People just having a good time and all of that stuff. And so when you start to enjoy life and you stop putting all of these negative dispositions on people just because you've never met them before or people before you had this trauma that they trying to pass on to you, there are children today in the black community that has never witnessed racism at any point in their life. And their mother and probably their father is going to program them to hate people based off of the color of their skin, and they have never experienced it. Innocent kids that don't know nothing except for what it is that their parents tell them. And that's why, even when I see people that are super biased today, I know that that was put into them. That's not nothing that you're born with. You're not inherently born to hate people that don't look like you. And so at some point, people have to get over it. You got to let it go. You got to get over it. But I suspect that things are going to get worse before they get better because when we seen all of this pandemic and the Black Lives Matters and the George Floyd protests and all of this stuff, everything now has become racial. Every single thing is racial. If you see a black cop and a white person or a white person and a black cop, like, I don't know, bro. I just honestly don't know. I choose not to live my life like that. I choose not to hate white people. I choose not to hate anybody, but I am going to evaluate you based off of your individual character and your individual actions, and that will dictate whether or not I want to be around you, and vice versa. And you don't even have to want to be around me. But I do agree with them 100%. I think that the most racist people in 2025 in the United States of America have become black people as a black person. And I'm always willing to give credit to the content creator, regardless of whether I agree with them or not. So that link will be in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life.